today we just going to identify Israel as a people and Israel as color. Then you will know your identity. Then you will know who you are. Because a lot of us around here, all we know is we African. But African is a part of the land of Ham, which most people don't understand, which is another name Egypt, which is another name Mizraim, which is another name Canaan. But then you say you call yourself African, but that's after a Roman general named Scipio Africanus. When he conquered the northern part of Egypt or Carthage, that's what he named it, because that's what the Romans do when they come and conquer your land. They change the name. Right. So Palestine over there, what do you think that was before it was Palestine? It was Israel or Jerusalem. But the bottom line is, anytime they take something, they change the name. When they took you, they changed your name. Right. My last name ain't you, and I know it ain't from my family tree. Right. But that's the name that they gave me. And that's the name my family been riding with all these years. But the bottom line is, today we're going to identify Israel, and we're just going to make it, we're going to read the scriptures that other people use to try to say Jesus is white. But then most people, even the prisoners, know when they get to Revelation, right. They research scripture, they know Jesus is black. That means the Gentiles know who Jesus is and what color he is. Right. Most of them don't kick it, but they want to see that white picture in front of them. Then our people, you go to their churches, as soon as you walk in the door, you see a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white man. And that's what they tell the people. This is your God. But we have to go by identity. And why we teach this? Because it's in the Bible. And we teach it because the Lord told you one thing. Salvation is of the Jew. So if you don't know who the Jew is, you ain't got no salvation coming. And if you call yourself a Gentile and you preaching and you ain't taught by Israel, you ain't teaching nobody how to get salvation. Because if you have been taught by Israelite, you dealing with vain doctrine, plain and simple. Okay? We're going to start this off in Psalms 83rd chapter. Psalms 83. And we're going to read about a prophecy that is going on right now, but most people don't pay attention. What they don't pay attention to is that the Lord had this written in the Bible, but people don't pay attention to what's being said. Okay? Psalms 83 and verse 1. Go ahead.
Keep now thy silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God.
Go ahead.
For lo, thy enemies make a tumult.
So now, these people are the Lord's enemies, and they make a tumult. We're going to find out what he's talking about. Okay, go ahead.
And they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
So now they done took a tumult against the Lord's people. So that's why we got a problem, because these people are going after the ones the Lord called his chosen. Okay, go ahead.
And consulted against thy hidden ones.
So now, consult against who? His hidden ones. Because when you tell the Israelite they Israel, they'll say, no, I'm African. You tell them they Israelite, no, I'm a Gentile. No, I'm a Mohican. I'm mixed with Indian blood. I'm everything but who I am. That's why we hidden as a people. Because we want to be part this, part that, because you got straight hair, you got wavy hair. The bottom line is we've been discriminating against our own people because of color. Back in the day, the lighter you was, the closer you was to looking like massa, the better off you was. And that ain't changed today. But now you got the dark people don't want to prove that they Israel, but the lighter people want to prove they is Israel. And them the ones running around with dashikis on and all this African God because they so light they want to prove they black. But the bottom line is people are hidden and don't know they Israel. And they are what the Lord called here his chosen people. But you hid. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 4. They have said, come and let us cut thee from off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
So now he said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, because Israel don't know they're a nation. They got people over there in Jerusalem right now saying they Israeli. But you as a people have been cut off as a nation because you think you from somewhere else. Your name changed every 5 years. First you was black. Go back a couple years, you was Afro. Before that, you was Negro. Before that, you was colored. Before that, we don't want to talk about it. But the bottom line is, we had name change all the time because we hid. We don't know who we are. I don't know what we're going to be 5 years from now. You know, we got a black president, but guess what his name might be in 5 years. Bottom line is, who knows, because we are hidden people. Okay, but go ahead.
But they have consulted together with one consent.
And this is the only thing these nations agree on, is having you hid. Everything else they fighting over your land, But to keep your name out of existence, that's what they do. And we're going to show you that today. And I mean, not only Edomites, but the Ishmaelites as well, which ones we call Arabs. Okay, but go ahead.
They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom.
So now, who top on the list? The one that's sitting over there in Jerusalem right now, calling himself Israel, or Israeli, or the true Jew. Okay, but go ahead.
And the Ishmaelites
and
of
the
Moab.
ones who we know as Arabs, they sitting there saying, hey, this land belongs to them too. So if they saying the land belongs to them, you don't exist. You ain't the chosen one. They the one, they want to come in there with their God and take over the land. We can even read scriptures where the books say that they have taken over the houses of God. Plain and simple, to get rid of you, to make you hidden. Okay, but go ahead.
And the Hagarenes. Gebal and Ammon. And Amalek. The Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre.
So now, I wanted him to read Philistines in there, so we're going to find out, we're going to go back and we're going to look and see where these Philistines come from. And we're going to find out that these people are black people, but they black like you. And they part of the ones that took crafty counsel against the Lord's people to hide you. Plain and simple. Okay, but go ahead.
Assur also is joined with them. They had helped the children of Lot.
So now, I mean, because you got Asher, you got Assyrians, you got all these other people. Everybody trying to get you hidden. And they doing it, and they're agreeing to do it together, but you don't know it as a nation. Why? Because they put it in the book, and Israel don't pick up books. We don't read. We might buy a Sun Times or a Tribune, but that's as far as we going. We ain't going to no library, do no study about no history. Not unless we going to get a grade on it. And if you ain't in school, you ain't thinking about it. But the bottom line is, put it in a book, you'll hide it from Israel. Plain and simple. Okay? But now, let's go to Genesis, the 10th chapter.
Should I go to verse 12 on that?
Oh, I'm sorry. Skip down to verse 12.
12. Okay. Who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of God in possession?